Shalom, and welcome to citedmon.com. Hebrews chapter 4. The seventh millennium of rest. The seventh, Shana. Hebrews chapter 4 verses 1 to 11. Therefore, a promise being left to enter into his rest, let us fear, lest any of you should seem to come short of it. Manggatakot nga tayo, yamang may iniwang pangako ng pagpasok sa kanyang kapahingahan. Baka sakaling sino man sa inyo ay maging tulad sa di nakaabot niyaon. For also we have had the gospel preached, as well as them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in those who heard it. Sapagkat tunay na tayo'y pinangaralan ng mabubuting balita, gaya rin naman nila, ngunit hindi nila pinakinabangan ang salitang napakinggan, dahil sa walang kalakip na pananampalataya ang nangakarinig. For we who have believed do enter into the rest, as he said, I have sworn in my wrath that they should not enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. Sapagkat tayong nagsisipanampalataya ay nagsisipasok sa kapahingahang yaon, gaya ng sinabi niya, gaya ng aking isinumpa sa aking kagalitan, sila'y hindi magsisipasok sa aking kapahingahan, bagamat ang mga gawa ay nanggatapos mula nang itatag ang sanglibutan. For he spoke in a certain place of the seventh day in this way, and God rested the seventh day from all his works. And in this place again, they shall not enter into my rest. Sapagkat sa isang dako ay sinabi niya ang ganito tungkol sa ikapitong araw, at nagpahinga ng ikapitong araw ang Diyos sa lahat ng kanyang mga gawa. At sa dakong ito ay muling sinabi, sila'y hindi magsisipasok sa aking kapahingahan. Since then it remains that some must enter into it, and since they to whom it was first preached did not enter in because of unbelief, kaya't yamang may natitira pang ibang dapat magsipasok doon. At ang mga pinangaralan ng una ng mabubuting balita ay hindi nanggapasok dahil sa pagsuway. He again marks out a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long a time. Even as it is said, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Ay muling nagtangi siya ng isang araw. Ngayon pagkatapos ng ilang panahon na sinabi sa mga awit ni David, ayon sa sinabi na ng una, ngayon kung marinig ninyo ang kanyang tinig, huwag ninyong papagmatigasin ang inyong mga puso. For if Joshua had given them rest, then he would not afterward have spoken of another day. So then there remains a rest to the people of God. Sapagkat kung ibinigay sa kanila ni Josue ang kapahingahan, ay hindi na sana niya sasalitain pagkatapos ang ibang araw. May natitira pa ngang isang pamamahingang Sabbath, ukol sa bayan ng Diyos. For he who has entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own works, as God did from his. Therefore let us labor to enter into that rest, lest anyone fall after the same example of unbelief. Sapagkat ang pumasok sa kanyang kapahingahan ay nagpahinga naman sa kanyang mga gawa, gaya ng Diyos sa kanyang mga gawa. Magsipag-sikap nga tayo ng pagpasok sa kapahingahang yaon, upang huwag marapa ang sinoman ayon sa gayong halimbawa ng pagsuway.
The word unbelief, pagsuway, is the Greek word apaitia from G545, disbelief, obstinate and rebellious, disobedience, unbelief. The obstinate opposition to the divine will. I want you to stop being obstinate and rebellious. I want you to do my divine will or you will not enter into my rest.
The rest that the book of Hebrews is talking about is found in Genesis 2. Genesis 2 verse 1, "And the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work which God created to make. At nay-ari ang langit at ang lupa, at ang lahat na natatanaw sa mga iyon. At nang ikapitong araw ay nay-ari ng Diyos ang kanyang gawang ginawa, at nagpahinga ng ikapitong araw sa madlang gawa niyang ginawa. Jehovah blessed and made the seventh day, Saturday, holy. He made this day to represent the seventh millennium that we can enter into if we believe. In the same way we have a 7-day week, Jehovah has these 7 millennial days. The seventh millennium is represented by the weekly seventh-day Sabbath. As we showed you in our first video, the Hebrew word, Shana, in Genesis 6 verse 3, is a jubilee cycle and is represented by 49 years. The 50th year is year 1 in the next cycle. Genesis 6 verse 3, is talking about 120 Shana or 120 jubilee cycles. 20 Jubilee cycles is 1 millennial day or 980 years. 6 millennial days is 120 Jubilee cycles, or 120 Jubilee cycles multiplied by 49 years per Jubilee cycle to give you 5,880 years. This is the 6 days for mankind. The seventh millennium of rest spoken of in the book of Hebrews chapter 4 begins when the 6th millennium of mankind is finished. When we take this millennial week and change it to our Gregorian years, it looks like this. The negative sign represents BC years. There is no year 0. This is the first millennium when Adam was created and is represented each week by the first day Sunday. It is the year 3836 BC. This is the second millennium, after Adam was created, and is represented each week by the second day, Monday. The flood of Noah took place in the year 2181 BC. This is the third millennium, after Adam was created, and is represented each week by the third day, Tuesday. Abraham made the covenant with Jehovah in the year 1810 BC. This is the fourth millennium, after Adam was created, and is represented each week by the fourth day, Wednesday. Yeshua was crucified in the year 31 Common Era. This is the fifth millennial day, and is represented each week by the fifth day, Thursday. This is the sixth millennial day, and is represented each week by the sixth day, Friday. Take special note of the last year in this sixth millennial day. It is 2044. Yeshua said, "Unless those days were cut short, no flesh would be saved alive." The 3.5 years tribulation must also take place in the remaining years. Before the tribulation you also have the 3.5 years of the 2 witnesses and all end-time prophecies. We do not have much time to get ready. But we must begin to obey now, if we want to enter into His 7th millennial rest and His kingdom. This is the 7th millennial day, and is represented each week by the 7th day, Shabbat or Saturday. This is the 7th millennial day, Hebrews 4 is talking about. It begins in the year 2045. This is when our Messiah will be here and rule over us in peace and love. No more war, no more starvation. This chart shows the 120th Jubilee cycle since the creation of Adam. We are currently in the year 2021 right now. Do you see how little time is left? When we explain all the details of this chart, you will learn we have already entered the time of Jacob's trouble. The time of judgment. There may be 24 years until the 7th millennium begins, but you already can see Jehovah's judgment on the world right now with the severe droughts and wildfires, earthquakes, typhoons, hurricanes, severe floods, landslides, tornadoes, locusts, famines, extreme weather events, and now COVID-19 all around the world. If you are not practicing the weekly Sabbath now, then how will you be able to enter into his rest of the 7th millennium in a few short years? There are 10 virgins invited to marry our Messiah. 5 of them are wise and are invited into the wedding. 5 of them are foolish and told, "I never knew you," and they will not be going into the wedding. Which ones are you? Matthew 25 verses 1 through 13. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened to 10 virgins, who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. The foolish ones took their lamps, but took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, "Behold, the bridegroom comes. Go out to meet him." Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps have gone out." But the wise answered, saying, "No, lest there be not enough for us and you. But rather go to those who sell, and buy for yourselves." And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came. And they who were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterwards the other virgins came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he answered and said, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Therefore watch, for you do not know either the day or the hour in which the Son of Man comes." Matthew chapter 7 23 to 25. Hindi ang bawat nagsasabi sa akin, "Panginoon, Panginoon," ay papasok sa kaharian ng langit, kundi ang gumaganap ng kalooban ng aking Ama na nasa langit. Marami ang magsasabi sa akin sa araw na yaon, "Panginoon, Panginoon, hindi baga nagsipanghula kami sa iyong pangalan, at sa pangalan mo'y nangagpalayas kami ng mga demonyo, at sa pangalan mo'y nagsaygawa kami ng maraming gawang makapangyarihan?" At kung magkagayo'y ipahahayag ko sa kanila, "Kailan may hindi ko kayo nanggakilala, magsilayo kayo sa akin, kayong manggagawa ng katampalasanan." The 7th millennium is almost here. Many are doing lots of things in his name. But they will not obey him. They will not keep his law. They say his laws are done away with. This is not true. Jehovah will say, "I never knew you, because you did not obey his commandments." It is the 4th commandment of rest that Satan does not want you to have. The 7th Shana, of Hebrews 4. And just as Jehovah set a flaming sword to guard the tree of life from Adam and Eve, those 5 foolish virgins will be denied access to the tree of life and the 7th Shana of rest, because they would not obey and keep the commandments.
John chapter 4 verse 15. Kung ako'y inyong iniibig, ay tutuparin ninyo ang aking mga utos. John chapter 15 verse 10. Kung tinutupad ninyo ang aking mga utos ay magsisipanahan kayo sa aking paibig gaya ng aking pagtupad sa mga utos ng aking Ama at ako'y nananatili sa kanyang paibig.
Romans chapter 2 verse 13. Sapagkat hindi ang mga tagapakinig ng kautusan ang siyang mga ganap sa harapan ng Diyos, kundi ang nangagsisitalima sa kautusan ay aariing mga ganap.
1 John chapter 2 verse 3 and 4. At sa ganito'y nalalaman natin na siya'y ating nakikilala kung tinutupad natin ang kanyang mga utos. Ang nagsasabing, nakikilala ko siya, at hindi tumutupad ng kanyang mga utos ay sinungaling, at ang katotohanan ay wala sa kanya.
The opposite of this belief, pagsuway, is to obey, pagsunod, and do the commandments. All of them. Study your Bible. If you want to be in the 7th millennium of rest, the 7th Shana, in just a few years' time, if you want to take part of the tree of life, if you want to talk with our Messiah face to face, then you must believe and start to obey now. Start to keep the Sabbath and study your Bible. We are at the time when men will be rarer than the fine gold of Ophir. The 7th millennium is just a few years away and the great tribulation is before then.
In the very last chapter of the Bible and just 7 verses from the end it says this. Revelation 22 verse 13 to 14, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending, the first and the last. Blessed are they who do his commandments, that their authority will be over the tree of life, and they may enter in by the gates into the city. Ako ang Alpha at ang Omega, at ang una at ang huli, ang pasimula at ang wakas. Mapapalad ang nangaguhugas ng kanilang damit, upang sila'y magkaroon ng karapatan sa punong kahoy ng buhay, at makapasok sa bayan sa pamamagitan ng mga pintuan. You must do his commandments to have this authority to the tree of life. Choose life now and do not end up as one of the foolish virgins, and I turn you away.
Shema Yisrael, Yehovah, Eloheinu, Yehovah Echad. Hear, Israel, Yehovah, our God, is one Yehovah. We want to invite you to share this video with all your social contacts and tell your families just how close we are to the end of this age and the start of the 7th millennium. We also want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our weekly newsletters at citedmon.com. There you can find in our store a place to donate so you can help us to share this work with the rest of the nations. Please do help us to do this work by sharing this and donating to our cause. We also have this book, It Was a Riddle Not a Command, which you can also order. It will show you clearly who the foolish virgins are, and who the wise are. The wise will know the meaning behind the words that Jesus spoke when he said no man can know the day or the hour. The foolish will not know what this means because they do not obey. Order the book and make a donation today. Salamat po. There were many who did not believe Noah until it started to rain. By then it was too late. Choose now the tree of life. At kung paano ang mga araw ni Noe, gayon din naman ang pagparito ng anak ng tao. Sapagkat gaya ng mga araw bago nagkagunaw, sila'y nagsisikain at nagsisiinom, at nangag-aasawa at pinapapag-aasawa, hanggang sa araw na pumasok si Noe sa daong, at hindi nila nalalaman hanggang sa dumating ang paggunaw, at sila'y tinangay na lahat, ay gayon din naman ang pagparito ng anak ng tao.